Now, you work with leaders in very different contexts, across sectors, across countries. From what you have observed, what do the leaders who are navigating this well have in common? What are they doing differently?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I must say, I really enjoy talking to people about AI because this is an ongoing conversation. I loved how you said earlier, boardroom conversations. You said you didn't say it's one conversation. This is not something you can have one conversation about and then we don't have to talk about it for another year. This is an ongoing conversation because it's evolving and new things happen and you have to keep thinking. But I think a common thread that comes through is that they have separated what AI can do from what we will use it for. So AI could do almost everything if we really wanted it to, but they're thinking about what do we want to use it for? And I think that is really important. And they're going beyond large language models to think, what does my do we create something using AI? What does that actually look like? So it's not just we're rolling out Copilot, it's what's the best use of AI for us?
What we want to use it for, and what is it that we do not want to use it for,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The second question is that they have done exactly what we've already been talking about, that this is a values conversation, not just technology one. So they're not putting it in, as I think people did initially, this is IT, this is tech. They've realized that this is a values organizational question. And the ideal is to bring them, the senior people from your technology team with the strategists, with the CEO, to bring those people together to have the conversation. I think the other, there's a couple of other things. They've invested in psychological safety around AI. So people can say, I don't get it, without being penalized, because there's a lot of fear around this. Therefore, what happens when there's a lot of fear is people don't challenge and they don't say the obvious thing, or they don't say this isn't going to work, and that's why they just go along with it. And I think that investment in, if you don't think this is the right thing to do, let me know what the questions, the queries are, and your job is safe. It might not be safe forever because the economy changes, etc., but we're not planning to replace you with AI. That conversation is not being had as well. So I think if they have that conversation, I think that's that. When we hear we've discussed the psychological safety, we've told people how we are going to use it, we are welcoming people's perspectives on AI, that is really brilliant. And of course, the most important thing that you've been talking about, they've moved from piloting to governance. So not just running experiments, but building decision making for how AI gets adopted. They're really getting to that point, as in what's our working governance process for whether we go with this or whether we don't, really starting to move that thinking through.
Lovely. So it's not just being knowledgeable about AI at the leadership level or throughout the organization, which is a must anyway, but also creating that safety, psychological safety to pose questions for those who don't get it, but also for the leadership team, right? To own that uncertainty. Because when a leader can say, I don't get it, then it's easier also for those down the line in the organization to also pose questions and to feel safer into questioning what is being done or not being done on the way AI is being adopted. That's beautiful. Although I must say that in my experience, facilitating governance conversations, especially in the area of balcons, that kind of epistemic humility is, I would say, it's rare, but it's also in itself a governance innovation. So encouraging that, developing that is a supporting system itself into moving from piloting into governing AI.